Would you like to learn how to say hello in Cherokee? The word is Osio. The Cherokee call Oklahoma home and hold their national holiday in Tahlequah. They call their gathering a powwow. Tahlequah is in the eastern part of the state. Many people who come to it aren't Cherokee, since other people are welcome. Whenever tribes come together for a powwow, they enjoy lots of dancing, art, games, food, and more. Oklahoma Indian culture is fabulous and rich. There is a lot to learn from the resilience of American Indians who have made Oklahoma their new home. Other tribes call Oklahoma their home, too. Did you know that the Oklahoma state seal has 5 tribes? Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Muskogee, Creek, and Seminole, shown on it? However, there are many more American Indian tribes in our state than that. Did you know that way before Oklahoma became a state in 1907, there were large tribes here that did not include the Cherokee? Some Great Plains tribes that lived in Oklahoma were the Apache, Arapaho, Comanche, Caddo, Wichita, Osage, and Kiowa. The Cherokee were relocated, or forced to move from their home, to Oklahoma in the 1800s. About 24 other tribes were also relocated. The U.S. government sent them here to Indian Territory, or land where American Indians were forced to live. Originally, the Cherokee were a southeastern tribe. The Cherokee and many other tribes have gone through a lot of hardships or difficulties to become leaders in Oklahoma. American Indians are just like people in other cultures. They are using the power of the internet to teach the world about their culture. Let's look at some cool things that are going on with technology. First, a reminder. When you go online, only use safe websites. Check with a grown-up first to see if a site is safe for kids and reliable, has correct information. Did you know that some American Indian languages in Oklahoma are in danger of becoming extinct, gone forever? Even though there are thousands of languages on Earth, people speak or hear very little of most of them. Technology helps people see and hear ancient languages because words can be translated or explained in your own language online. It isn't the same as having a real conversation with a native speaker, but it sure beats becoming extinct. Oklahoma has been home to many people for thousands of years. By using the study of artifacts, items made by people in the past, called archaeology, we are learning about a great civilization that lived here long before Europeans arrived after 1492. Items that someone in the past threw away, lost, or put away for some special occasion can be buried in the soil. Archaeologists use small tools to carefully remove many layers of soil so they don't damage the items. Once they unearth an item, They write down the information of where it was found. Then it gets sent to a laboratory for experts to examine it and research how it could have possibly been used, by who, and when. This study of artifacts gives us a look today at the way people lived in another time. Just outside of Spiro, Oklahoma, in LaFleur County near the Arkansas River, there are 12 large earth mounds made by people from long ago. Archaeologists from the Spiro Mound Archaeology Center have found tools and everyday items in these mounds belonging to the Mississippian culture. Spearheads, bones, baskets, and clothing have been found that show a large trade network. The items were made from materials that are only found in California, the Gulf of Mexico, the Great Lakes, or Virginia. This proves the Spiro leaders had towns, networks, and communication with as many as 60 other tribes. There would have been an exchange of plants, ideas, writings, and stories. They built places to trade, govern, and worship. They also built very large earth mounds that remain today. The type of mounds are not unique to Spiro. Similar types of mounds are found near present-day Illinois, Ohio, Alabama, Georgia, and Louisiana. 11 of the mounds at Spiro are intact and give us a glimpse of the past. There were different uses for the mounds. The 11 mounds were platforms for special buildings to set them apart from the ordinary. One was a burial mound. The burial mound was carelessly dug into in the 1930s by a mining company with big equipment. Big digging machines are not the tools of an archaeologist. Too many artifacts were damaged, sold, or destroyed. The mining company did not think of their value to the study of the people who lived here. The Oklahoma legislature stopped such digging activities in 1935. Only licensed archaeologists have since been able to use the right tools to unlock the mysteries of the mounds. We are learning more every year about the Mississippian people. We know that before Europeans came to Oklahoma, there were cities and towns of families and businesses. The people used the rivers and waterways as a highway to move from place to place. They produced goods and services. People traded for wants and needs just like today. They had celebrations and traditions. They had belief systems and ceremonies. Children played and lived in the same place children still play and live. Oklahoma has been home for many in the past and will be for many in the future. Choctaw Light Horsemen were organized in the 1820s. They were excellent horse riders and sharpshooters, could shoot guns well. Men of many different races were part of the Choctaw Light Horsemen. They didn't carry a lot of supplies, so they traveled light on horseback. Their job was to keep the peace in the tribe and enforce tribal laws. The Choctaw Light Horsemen acted as police, judge, and jury. All of the 5 tribes, Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole created law enforcement groups called Light Horsemen. In 1874, the government told the Light Horsemen to organize into one group that was called the United States Indian Police. The Light Horsemen and the USIP were paid a salary by the government and the Indian nations. The tradition of the Light Horsemen still remains today. For example, a Choctaw Light Horseman is still chosen to work in the tribal court system, and the Chickasaw Nation still has light horse police. Indians have always been earth-friendly. They were some of the first users of green technology. If something is green, it means it does not hurt the environment. It doesn't cause pollution or use up a lot of natural resources. Here's an American Indian green technology fact. The Native Energy Company has made electrical power using wind turbines. Think of a modern-day windmill. Native Energy teamed up with the Sioux Indians of South Dakota to set up the Alex Little Soldier wind turbine. The turbine is an enormous fan that makes less pollution and makes clean, green energy that is used again and again. Soon, there will be large farms of turbines. It's an exciting green technology project. In the late 1600s, the Comanche moved to the southern plains. The Kiowa moved south in the late 1700s. They were both hunter-gatherer tribes. They both lived in teepees, and horses became important to their cultures. However, they spoke different languages, had different beliefs, and practiced some different customs. Both of these tribes moved south because it was warmer there. There was also more animals to hunt, mostly bison. There were also more peaceful tribes in the south for them to trade with. The Pueblo was one of these tribes. The Pueblo fought against the Spanish in 1680 and won. A lot of horses were left behind by the Spanish when they lost the war. The Comanche and Kiowa traded for horses from the Pueblo. Horses meant that both tribes could hunt on larger areas of land. Having horses also meant that both tribes could defend their land better. These tribes were foes when they lived in the north, but they made peace in the year 1790. Peace between the Comanche and the Kiowa made them two of the strongest and largest tribes in all of the southern plains. Eventually, both tribes ran into new trouble in the southern plains as white people moved to the region. In 1865, the two tribes signed a treaty with the United States. They were granted land in western Oklahoma. The United States did not keep its part of the treaty. The treaty said that the tribes would have these lands to claim as their own. But white settlers still hunted on the land these tribes were given. Settlers would also walk right through their land, heading to other states on the west coast looking for gold. Settlers crossed over their land to cut down trees to use for houses. This made the tribes angry. The white settlers showed little or no respect for the land or nature. The American Indians fought against the settlers and the United States Army in many battles between 1865 and 1867. In the year 1867, another treaty, the Medicine Lodge Creek Treaty, was meant to give the tribes their own land. The land was called a reservation. The tribes moved and started to settle on the reservation in Oklahoma again. Problems started after many of the tribe's people did not want to go to this land, and the land that was promised to the tribes in the treaty was still being used by American settlers. In 1892, a new treaty was set up to provide 160 acres of land for each tribe member. This took more land from the tribes for white settlers. Today, there are over 25,000 Kiowa and Comanche people living in southwestern Oklahoma. They have lost over 90% of their original land. See the picture. It shows layers of dirt that have piled up over thousands of years. The objects in each layer are artifacts. An archaeologist's job is to dig through each layer of dirt and tell the story of the people who lived there by the artifacts they left behind. Artifacts buried deeper underground are older. 1. Look at the objects at the top, in layer 1. Were they left recently or a long time ago? 2. How many years ago were the objects in layer 4 left? 3. Do you think the objects in layer 3 were left by people who invented fast airplanes? Look at the objects numbered 4 to 7. In the blanks, write the layer number that each object is found in. For example, the bones are found in layer 4. 4, 5, 6, 7.